Heartbreaking news coming from Timor. A preliminary magnitude of 6.4 was assigned to an earthquake that occurred off the coast of Timor-Leste. The quake was so powerful that it could be felt in Darwin, Australia. Welcome to Earthquake Disaster Movie. In today's video, we'll discuss everything about the earthquake that has shaken the whole of Timor. But before we make it to the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel for more premium content and hit the notification bell to be the first to watch our videos. According to Geosciences Australia, the earthquake occurred at 11:36 a.m. local time, 12:06 p.m. Darwin time. It caused some people in the capital city of Dili to flee buildings, despite the fact that a tsunami was not expected as a result of the quake. Witnesses reported that the earthquake was quite strong, despite the fact that there were no immediate reports of damage or casualties. A video that was circulated on social media showed people in Dili descending stairs to leave a shopping mall. Francis Suni, Director of Information of East Timor's GMN-TV, told Reuters in a text message, "It's quite big. Our staff ran out of the building because it was shaking." According to the European Mediterranean Seismological Center, the earthquake struck at a depth of 10 kilometers and was located approximately 29 kilometers east-southeast of Los Palos in Timor-Leste. According to the advice of the Bureau of Meteorology, there is no threat of a tsunami to Australia. According to the Indonesian Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, the earthquake did not result in a tsunami threat warning being issued. According to reports from Australian media outlets and posts made by residents on social media, residents in Darwin, which is more than 700 kilometers away, were able to feel the earthquake. Ben Tufnell said, "I was in my office in Darwin 3 stories up, and monitors shook and door frames creaked. The entire structure was rattled. When people came out of their offices and homes, they all agreed that it was one of the more powerful tremors that has occurred in recent years. It lasted for at least a minute and a half, which was a truly terrifying experience." An Australian Facebook user, William Daw, wrote on Facebook, "Wow, I just felt the earth move here in Darwin. An earthquake just shook our office building here in Casuarina. Does anyone else feel it?" Even Twitter has also been filled with a lot of tweets related to this natural calamity. Ruth Davies tweeted, "That felt weird. Nice little tremor there, Darwin." The so-called Pacific Ring of Fire is a seismically active zone located where different plates on the Earth's crust meet and produce a large number of earthquakes and volcanoes. East Timor and its neighboring country Indonesia both lie within this zone. The Ring of Fire in the Pacific, also known as the Pacific Rim or the Circum-Pacific Belt, is a region that extends around the Pacific Ocean and is characterized by a high number of active volcanoes and earthquakes. More than 450 volcanoes can be found there, making it home to approximately 75% of the world's total volcanoes. Additionally, this region is home to approximately 90% of the world's earthquakes. It starts in New Zealand and travels clockwise in an almost circular arc, covering Tonga, the Kermadec Islands, Indonesia, moving up to the Philippines, Japan, and stretching eastward to the Aleutian Islands, before traveling southward along the western coast of North America and South America. Its total length is over 40,000 kilometers. This region lies on the boundary between several tectonic plates, including the North American Plate, the Pacific Plate, the Philippine Plate, the Juan de Fuca Plate, the Cocos Plate, and the Nazca Plate. The shifting of these plates, also known as tectonic activity, is what causes the region to experience a high number of earthquakes and tsunamis each year. Tectonic plates that are moving towards each other and creating subduction zones can be found along a large portion of the Ring of Fire. The weight of the other plate causes the first plate to sink, or cause it to be subducted. This is a very slow process, with only 1 or 2 inches being moved each year on average. As a result of this subduction process, rocks begin to melt, transform into magma, and rise to the surface of the Earth, where they cause volcanic activity. In the case of Tonga, the Pacific Plate was pushed down below the Indo-Australian Plate and the Tonga Plate, which caused the molten rock to rise above and form the chain of volcanoes. This happened because the Pacific Plate was pushed down below the Indo-Australian Plate and the Tonga Plate. In addition, subduction zones are the locations of the vast majority of the planet's most intense earthquakes. The earthquake that took place on December 26, 2004, occurred along the subduction zone, where the Indian Plate was being subducted beneath the Burma Plate. An AFP journalist in the East Timor capital, Dili, felt the earthquake and said that, although it lasted only seconds, the jolt was quite strong. "I saw people rushing out of their homes and children running outside of the school," the journalist said. The earthquake was felt more strongly near the town of Los Palos, which is located in the eastern part of the country, However, the authorities in that area were still evaluating the situation as of the time of this writing, so they did not provide a breakdown of the damage or the possible casualties. The city of Darwin, Australia, which is located on the opposite side of the Timor Sea from the epicenter, also felt the earthquake. Darwin resident Joel Willingale, who works in heavy manufacturing, said, "It went on for about 30 seconds. The whole room shook and slammed down," he said. "We only really feel the effects of a quake occasionally, usually in the Banda Sea, but this one was a big one." The Banda Sea lies north of Timor Island. According to the National Emergency Management, the earthquake in the north of Indonesia caused panic and caused people to evacuate buildings in the southwest of the Moluccas archipelago. This information was provided by the Indonesian government. The authorities have not reported any injuries or property damage. The agency that monitors tsunamis for the United Nations has issued a warning that the earthquake may cause a tsunami to affect the Indian Ocean region. However, no national authority in the region has as of yet issued a warning about a possible tsunami. "No tsunami threat to Australia from earthquake felt in Darwin," said Australia's Bureau of Meteorology in a tweet. The Pacific Ring of Fire is an arc of intense seismic activity that stretches through Southeast Asia and across the Pacific Basin. East Timor and Indonesia both sit on this ring, which runs from Indonesia to East Timor. When a quake with a magnitude of 6.2 struck the region of North Sumatra in Indonesia in February, it was responsible for the deaths of a dozen people. In 2004, a magnitude 9.1 earthquake struck the coast of Sumatra, which subsequently triggered a tsunami that resulted in the deaths of approximately 220,000 people across the region, the majority of whom were located in Indonesia. Since the tsunami in 2004, governments and aid organizations have made lowering the risk of natural disasters and being prepared for them a priority. Just 3 weeks after the tsunami, representatives from 168 different nations reached an agreement on the Hyogo Framework for Action, which paved the way for international cooperation for the reduction of disaster risk. Since then, sensors that detect earthquakes on the ocean floor have been installed to issue early warnings, and many communities in the area have received training in how to evacuate and respond to natural disasters. The ability of Indonesia to respond to major earthquakes and tsunamis in August and September 2018 put the country's recovery capabilities to the test. Then, in December of 2018, the ongoing eruptions of the Anak Krakatau volcano in the Sunda Strait caused undersea landslides, which in turn triggered a tsunami that hit beaches in both Sumatra and Java. More than 400 people were killed because the volcanic activity did not precede any kind of warning. The government of Indonesia is currently working on incorporating volcano sensors into its existing warning systems. East Timor, which recently celebrated the 20th anniversary of its independence from Indonesia, has a population of approximately 1.3 million people and is the youngest country in Southeast Asia. East Timor gained its independence from Indonesia in 1999. According to the World Bank, 42% of the population lives below the country's official poverty line as a direct result of the pandemic caused by the COVID-19 virus. The majority of the country's population lives in rural areas, and probably the Timor government will also work in its natural disaster department soon in the upcoming future, just like Indonesia and request capable nations will come forward in this difficult time for Timor. So this was all about the video. I hope you liked the information given in the video. If you have anything in your mind, feel free to comment below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more videos like this. Also, hit the bell icon to get the notification of the latest updates in the channel. Thanks for watching.